Hello and welcome to the next part of Christmas Otome. Last time, Garrett's father got beat up by some kids, however, in the end everything, worked out pretty well. Especially with Garrett's father, who is now motivated to keep doing his old dojo again and all that. And yeah, everything is going really well. Really well. And I am nervous. Very nervous. So yeah, let's keep going. And yes, I will not do the last dreamscape to get the bad ending first. Which apparently translates to not many Garret events, god damn it. Let's check out the hospital ones. I let out a soft sigh as I made my way to the supply closet on an errand for one of the nurses. It wasn't the task itself I was unhappy with. Just with the year drawing to a close, it almost felt like I was running out of time to complete the things I wanted to. Almost without thinking, my fingers brushed over the bracelet. Maybe I really am running out of time. Maybe. No, I can't think like that. I'm doing the best I can, and magic bracelet or not, it's not like I can force someone to fall in love. I was still telling myself that as I pulled open the closet door and went to flick on the light switch, only to realize it was already on. Wait. Dr. Shipper again. I was suddenly pulled into the closet and the door pulled shut. What are you doing? Did anyone follow you here? No, why would... why? Good. I paused for a moment expecting an explanation. I got none. Dr. Shipper, why are we in a closet? I tried to keep my voice calm and collected as to not to encourage his antics. We're hiding, clearly. From what? Actually, you know what? I don't want to know. I just came here for a pack of wet wipes. I grabbed the pack from the shelf behind him as I set it and made to leave. Maya, wait. The use of my name stopped me short. I've heard rumors that you might not be around for the Christmas party. Why is that? He seemed so uncharacteristically sincere that I answered without thinking. I'm spending Christmas out of town with my family. I see, family is important. He didn't say anything further, so I left the closet, shrugging off that weird interaction. It was par for the course with him, really. I'd almost put it out of my mind by the time I saw him next. He walked up the nurse's station, a cup of coffee in hand. Why did you come in? Aren't you off? Who comes to their place of work on the day off to hide in the closet? There's been a snack with the Christmas party preparations. What snack? Her voice was deceptively calm, but her eyes were cold. Nothing major, just, everything's already blocked solid for Christmas. Turns out we should have called in advance. You said you would handle it. And I will. But we're going to have to move it up a bit if we actually want it to resemble a party. What's a bit? This Saturday? Fine, I'll notify the parents. Great. He waited until the matron left to do that, before turning towards me conspiratorially. You should be able to attend the party now, right, Maya? Why do you want her at the party so much? Yeah, I guess. A thought occurred to me. Don't tell me you did this on purpose just for that. Of course not. I'm just irresponsible. He said it so boldly that I wasn't sure which was the truth. He turned to leave, but not before tossing a line over his shoulder. Oh, and Maya? You should bring that guy with you. I opened my mouth to protest, but he was already gone. I rubbed at the bracelet. Maybe I should invite someone to the party. I really have a feeling that I'm running out of time now. Maya, can I speak for you for a moment before the shift starts? Yeah, sure. What's up? This isn't your usual shift. Did something happen? About that. This is actually my last shift. Did the manager say something? If he did, I can... His lips pulled up into an amused smile at my righteous fury. No, there's no need for that. It was my choice. I deflated a little at that. Okay. You sure about this? Yes, I'm gonna help reopen the family business. Why does he look like he's rejoining the mafia when he says that? Well, I am happy for you. I'll miss working with you though. His eyes softened. I'll miss that too. I felt the reassuring weight of his palm on the top of my head. But we'll see each other often, I'll make sure of it. I'll hold you to that. He smiled at my response, and I couldn't help but smile back. Still, his decision reminded me that I had to think of my future too. It wasn't like I was going to work at Joseph's forever. I gotta send out those job applications soon. Don't remind me. Not too long ago, I thought that going back to my parents was the logical choice, but I was subconsciously making plans for a future here. I guess these are my true desires. It seemed that I'd already made the choice to stay without realizing it. I couldn't help but feel lighter as I registered that thought. I rubbed the finger over the bracelet subconsciously. That's one less weight off my mind, at least. The warning signs, the warning signs. Yes, I follow the mystery thing for now. I waved off a colleague's concerned look. I'd been distracted this entire shift because of an earlier phone call from my parents. They weren't exactly happy when I told them I wanted to find a permanent job here instead of moving back in with them. They tried to hide their disappointment, but they really weren't the best actors. The guilt coupled with missing them almost had me caving. But I didn't want to. I didn't want to fall back into our old habits and rely on them my entire life. But if staying here was just going to make them sad, was it really worth it? They were my parents. They had already done so much for me. I didn't want to be a source of pain for them. Parents sometimes have to let go of their children, girl. It's okay. Just visit them often, and it's alright. Maybe I should just do it. That defeated thought was accompanied by a moment of lightheadedness. I placed a hand against my head and willed the world to stop moving. Was my vision graying? Is it the bracelet? I thought I was getting a better hang on it. The same colleague from earlier rushed to my side. A small part of me wished it was Garret instead. Maya, are you okay? Sorry, I'm feeling a little dizzy. Low blood sugar, maybe. Do you want to rest in a break room for a bit? It's not that busy. I can take your tablets for you. I showed him a grateful smile. Please. Do you need help getting there? It's okay. I think I can get there. He nodded, but watched as I made my way carefully to the break room. My colleagues truly are good people. I grabbed some water and seated myself on the nearest chair. Ah, yeah, Emma was working here, wasn't she? I was leisurely sipping on it when the door was shoved open by Emma rushing in with a tray of food. Maya, I heard you collapsed, and under my watch? I almost choked at that. She didn't collapse. That's a bit over the top. Emma placed a tray of food on the table and rubbed at my back. Here, eat. You'll feel better in no time. I didn't collapse. How did you even whip this up so fast? It was a customer's order, but you take priority right now. Wouldn't get us fired. No, you're fainting, Will. Your best friend's the owner, remember? I almost protested that Siri wouldn't use her power that way, but then I realized that no, she probably would fire me if she thought it was for my own good. I could practically hear her saying that she wasn't going to let me work myself to death under her. See, you know I'm right. I smiled at Emma's antics as I took a bite out of the food, already feeling better. Siri wasn't the only one worried about me. I inhaled deeply and closed my eyes. I didn't want to leave them behind. There was someone else I didn't want to part with either. I'd already laid the foundations of my future here. I wanted to strike out on my own and see how far I could go. Good girl. And my parents? They will survive. I shook my head. They wanted me to be happy. That was why they sacrificed so much to give me opportunities. It was one thing if I truly wanted to give up, but I would be doing them a disservice if I did so out of a misguided sense of guilt. I guess I really needed that random interruption to pull me out of my negative mindset. Am I looking forward to seeing a bad end? No, I am not. No, 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 no. I'm not gonna look at it. I will not look at it. Maya's getting rich instead. Maya's getting rich instead. But yeah, I am again getting a bit worried about the dry spell of events here. I mean, it's on Saturday, something should happen, right? See, here. You're kidding. Nope, these were the only costumes the shop had left. And what? They were mass-produced? Well, it's Christmas and you know what adult costumes are usually like. You're lucky these were the most modest. Oh boy. I glanced down at the box of Mrs. Claus costumes and shuddered internally at the thought of more revealing ones. Oh, and pray tell, what are the men wearing? These. Now the question, which is worse? He pulled out a heavy full reindeer outfit with a flourish. That's... You're wearing that? Your skepticism in her tone was shared with the rest of us. Hell no, I'm going as Santa's little helper. They actually had an elf costume that was tall enough for you? Yep. He pulled out an ugly green outfit that had the rest of us shutting our mouths regarding our outfit choices. The head nurse grumbled a little about the never leaving him in charge of any parties in the future, but picked out the costume in her size and the rest of us followed her example. After all, anything was better than that green monstrosity. Oh boy. For the record, if this is just an excuse for you to oogle... Oh please, like I need an excuse to oogle anyone. Besides, the person I want to oogle isn't even around. good to know. We eyed him suspiciously for a bit longer before taking him at his word. I just picked out a costume in my size and was heading to change when he called out for me. Maya, did you invite that guy? Okay. I need to drink a sip at that. Looking good! I helped Garret adjust the fake belly of his outfit a bit awkwardly. Thank you for agreeing to this. No problem. It's for the kids after all. The person Dr. Shipper had hired to play Santa for the kids had cancelled at the last minute, so he'd asked me to convince Garret to replace him. I hadn't been sure if he'd agreed, but he did it without complaint. Although, I have to say this beer gut is convincing me to never... Although, I have to say this beer gut is convincing me to never drink. Pretty sure you're too much of a health nut anyway. He hit the fake belly, making it jiggle weirdly. It has jiggle physics. Well, yeah. Yeah, well, Santa could stand to exercise some more. I chuckled at the thought of a lean Santa. I think it goes against his brand. Brand or not, he's lucky to have such a beautiful wife when he looks like an old grandpa. I felt my cheeks heat up at the way he looked at me when he said those words. I opened my mouth to respond, but Dr. Shipper suddenly threw open the door to the room where we were waiting for Santa's cue to appear. Alright, that's enough flirting. The kids are ready to meet Santa. We weren't flirting. Still, my red cheeks did not help my protest. I mean, I was flirting. A little. Neither did that. Dr. Shipper just laughed. You're funny. Come on. Can't have them to wait forever. Garret sent me a nervous look and I smiled at him reassuringly. Knock on that, Santa. Santa's gonna kill us! Wah! I jinxed it, didn't I? That was my only thought as I watched the pandemonium unfolding. Garret had been nervous when he walked up to the chair, and his nerves had him looking even more intimidating than usual. The kids had taken one look at his face and started crying, which made him frown more, and well, it then escalated to them cowering and crying that he was going to kill them. Nurse Maya, save us! I looked at the teary kids tugging at my skirt with an awkward face-on smile. No kid, Santa's really nice. He doesn't look that scary. Even as I said that, I looked at Gar's face. Okay, that expression does look kinda murderous. I moved at him to stop frowning and saw him make an effort to smooth out his features. There, see? I looked at him warily, still half hiding behind me, but I considered it progress. I turned to the kid that looked the bravest and shot her a bright smile. Why don't you give Santa a hug and see what presents he brought you? She shook her head in protest. Yeah, I guess it won't be that easy. I looked back at Garret to see him starting to frown again, and my heart sank. It was my fault that he was even here in the first place enduring this humiliation. Should have never let Dr. Shipper talk me into this. Still, it was too late to regret. I had to do something to help Garret. A thought popped into my head that probably would have not considered at all at any other time. Might as well. I started to walk towards Garret, but the tug on my dress stopped me. Nurse Maya, where are you going? Well, if you guys don't want to see what Santa's got you, then I'm going to see what he got me. But he's scary. He's not scary at all. In fact, he's really sweet. You'll see. He clearly did not believe me, but he did let go of my dress. Before I could rethink it, I marched myself over to Garret and plopped myself on his lap before pulling him into a hug. He stared at me wide-eyed even as he automatically hugged me back. What are you... I love you, Santa. What presents have you brought for me? The poor guy. I squeezed him a bit tighter at how cute his blushing face looked. So cute. It was nice to be the one making him blush for once. He cleared his throat and reached for a gift that was next to his chair. I actually do have a gift for you. I took in the sight of the neatly wrapped gift with my name on it, and in the hesitant way he was holding it out. This isn't the wrapping paper we used. I saw it and thought of you. I took it from him, still a little surprised. But I didn't bring you... He shook his head. I just wanted to give it to you now. You can open it. Actually, I would like to see you open it. I nodded before carefully unwrapping the box and opening it to see an adorable Kippy waiter. It was so cute I couldn't help but hug it close. It's wonderful. He rested his forehead against mine with a relieved expression. I'm glad. Oh! I want a Kippy too, Santa! The excited voices of the kids suddenly reminded me of where we were. What are we doing in front of the kids? That's what you're saying now? I hastily jumped off his lap. Thanks, Santa. My place on his lap was quickly taken by a child happily asking for a gift. I could feel my face burning as I walked further away and caught the Cheshire grins Dr. Shipper and our staff were giving me. He knew exactly what he was doing. No, Maya, I have to say I couldn't have chosen a better Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Shut up. Oh, language. You're gonna get yourself on Santa's naughty list. Although I don't think you would mind that. Hey! He got a smack to the back of his head from the head nurse for that crack. I meant because she already has a gift. No one would believe that. I looked down at the gift still held tightly to my chest, and warmth bloomed inside of me. This one gift really was all I needed. I still can't believe that little girl didn't want to let you go in the end. She even said she would be Mrs. Claus when she grows up. I chuckled as I remembered her determined little face. Garret and I were discussing the highlights of the party as we walked home. Personally, I blame Dr. Shipper for having all of us dress up as Mrs. Claus. Plans the wrong ideas. Well, this Mr. Claus only has one Mrs. Claus. I hugged the Kippy plushie a little tighter at the happiness his words gave me. The party may have started out as a disaster, but in the end it went pretty well. The kids all loved him. Still, I glanced over at him from the corner of my eye. I shouldn't have put him in such an awkward position to begin with. Garret? I'm sorry for today. He froze at that before turning to face me with an unreadable expression. Why? I thought it ended well, didn't it? It did, but well, things got a bit crazy there in the beginning. I should have known better. I shouldn't have asked you. I should have told Dr. Shipper to wear the Santa Claus outfit himself. I see. I admired the Kippy toy in my arms as we started walking again. This was quite a surprise though. It's adorable. I wonder where he got it. I know just where I'm gonna put it. Garret looked kinda unhappy there. But alright, let's go, let's go. I wonder if the game is gonna end on like the 24th? Or New Year? I don't know. Oh! I smiled when I saw Garret standing outside as I left Joseph's at the end of my shift. Garret, hey, this is a nice surprise. What are you doing here? I wanted to talk to you. What happened? I stifled the instinctive panic at those words. There were plenty of reasons for people to talk without them being ominous, despite what novels and dramas would have one believe. Well, I was about to head home, so I'm all yours. He nodded. I'll walk you home. I didn't even try to suppress my smile. The thing I'd missed the most since he quit was walking home together. He was oddly quiet as we started walking, not that he was usually talkative, but his silence now felt different from the norm. Hey, is everything okay? I slowed to a stop, forcing him to do the same. He looked at me for a long moment before shaking his head. What's wrong? You said you wanted to talk, right? But the only one that's been doing any talking is me. He maintained his silence for a bit before scratching the back of his head with a sigh. Yeah, you're right. I'm the one who decided on this, so I should at least be man enough to follow through. A feeling of dread began to creep up on me. You're not gonna break up with her, are you? This is just a lot harder to do than I thought it would be. Garret? He don't look back at me unwaveringly as I searched his face. Really? But why? I mean, I didn't do your last dreamscape, but I don't think this is going to work out. You see, when he hesitated to say more, my fears were confirmed. Can I ask why? I bit back the tears threatening to fall from my eyes. Was it something I did? Maya, you're pretty smart, easygoing. You get along with everyone like it's second nature. Weren't those supposed to be good points for a relationship? I couldn't help the bitter turn my thoughts were taking. You don't have to sugarcoat it for me. I'm not. You're amazing. Then what's the problem? What's wrong with me? First Mr. Ennis, now you. To be fair, with Mr. Ennis there's nothing you could have done. That really has nothing to do with you as a person, but more like you as a former student. I turned my face away from him. The tenderness in his expression felt crueler than any sneer. I couldn't bear it. He pushed the strand of hair that was covering my face behind my ear, forcing me to look back at him. This isn't your fault. It's not you. It will never be you. But haven't you thought about how different we are? That's not a good reason. Why would... If you were asked what type of guy you thought of your date, I'd be the type that would fall short of that list. What? No. He shook his head sadly. You might be okay with it now, but one day you're going to wake up and realize that nothing's going to change. Ah, it's the trauma. It's like what happened with his mother and dad. I see, I see. His expression turned pained. I wish I could believe that. I'm sorry, but I can't take that risk. Garret, I wanted to protest, but what could I have said that would have made him believe? So I wonder, is this like part of the bad ending already, or is this still just his route? He stepped closer and kissed me on the forehead, leaning his head on mine as he whispered softly, "I hope you find someone who deserves you." That's not something you want to hear. I couldn't help but let the tears that I was holding back fall at those words. Oof. And that's what happened. Sarah was quiet for a long moment and I couldn't blame her. I had basically just dumped my entire sob story on her. But you know, in times like these, that's what friends are for, you know. Well, I didn't think he would be the type, but what a heartbreaker. He's not... He broke your heart, didn't he? Yes, but he did it so well that I can't even hate him for it. Exactly, skill. I still think I would be able to convince him. Maya, if he wasn't ready to believe that you would stay with him, then nothing you said would have changed anything. You can't hold the relationship together with the force of your will alone. I narrowed my eyes at what felt like a role reversal. Usually I was the one talking her out of trying things that were doomed for failure. When did you get so wise? I've always been wise. I snorted. Talking to Siri about it and bantering like this helped lift my spirits a little. Well, my wisdom says this may be a great time for a The way she cut herself short had me sitting up straight in worry. I could hear hushed whispers on the other side, but couldn't make it out what they were discussing. Siri? I'm really sorry about this, but something urgent has come up. You're abandoning me too? I knew it wasn't fair to her, but it still felt like my best friend was leaving me to my misery. Maya, I promise I'll make it up to you, but right now I really need to deal with this. But... Don't worry, I'll take care of her. Emma's sudden voice had me turning to see her standing in my doorway. Thank you, Emma. I'll entrust Maya to you. When did... Now, calm down. We've got ice cream, blankets, and mindless movies downstairs. Emma ignored my confusion and let me out of the room by my shoulders, and if I was honest, I was glad she did. Okay, I guess I am now on the bad path? I don't know. I blinked at the sight before me. This is a dojo? I rubbed the bracelet as I looked around the room. I spotted Garret and his father working on setting up the dojo towards the side. I got closer for a better look. It hadn't been that long since I last seen Garret, but I missed him. It felt a little wrong to do this now that we were broken up, but I couldn't stop myself. Besides, the bracelet is supposed to show important things, right? Garret's father kept sending him concerned looks before finally putting down the equipment he was working on, and initiating a conversation. How are things going with you and that girl? Garret froze momentarily before continuing like nothing happened. Do we have to talk about this? We broke up. His dad shot him a commiserating look. Oh, it's okay, son. There's plenty of fish in the sea. I'm sure someone else will. I'm the one who broke it off. His father gaped at him. I already know it's hard to believe. Did I hit you too hard or something? What the hell happened? Are you stupid, boy? How are you going to catch another girl like that? She was good for me. Too good? Too good? What kind of reason is that? You're so good too. Garret sighed. His dad looked at him and sighed as well. Please let this conversation just end here. Did she do anything that warranted a breakup? Nope. She's lovely, sweet and cute. Words that should have been praised sounded like a list of crimes to me. Would things have been different if I hadn't been those things? But if I'd only ever been myself with him. Or should I smack some sense into you? Garret put down the equipment he was holding, with a little more force than necessary. Weren't you the one that told me I was betting above my average? I've come to understand that's so. Boy, you're supposed to cherish someone like that, not show them the door. You make them so happy they never want to leave. Like that worked so well for you and Mom. How can I trust that I can make her happy when every time I look at you, I remember how hard you worked to make Mom happy? When even now I can't see past the shell of the man you turned into when Mom left. But he's fine now. Garret, I can't repeat your mistakes. I won't. He was practically vibrating with frustration, and beneath that, defeat. Seeing that, something in his father's expression changed. Hey son, let's spar. Okay. His father charged at him and knocked him to the floor without even giving him the chance to finish the word. Mr. Carver stared coldly down at his son. What do you do when you're knocked down? Barrett braced himself to get up. His father charged at him again, not letting him get to his feet. What the hell, old man? What do you do when someone knocks you down? Barrett suddenly got to his feet, keeping a wary eye on his dad for sudden movements. They exchanged a few more blows with Garret always on his receiving end. Now that he was on guard, he held his own much better, but still didn't hit back, even as his father kept repeating those words to him. I found myself whispering as I watched the one-sided fight. You get back up. The one-sided sparring match went on until his father called for a timeout, while panting and sweating profusely. Garret wordlessly handed him a towel and water bottle, while looking no worse than if he had taken a light jog. In fact, he looked a bit lighter than he had before, as though some of the earlier tension had bled out of him. His father guzzled down the water before looking off into the distance with an unreadable expression. You're a lot stronger than I was. There was a sense that he was talking about more than physical strength. Dad. Things will go better for you because no matter how many times I throw you to the floor, you're like a rubber ball. He reached out and ruffled Garret's hair. Never stay down, you hear? You think it's too late? It's not too late. Look how old I am. What do you think? I awoke with a start, clutching at my rapidly beating heart. Dad, I was already scrambling for my phone, ready to message Garret and tell him what? The remnants of the dream were already fading away, and I couldn't help feeling that I was forgetting something important. I rubbed at the faintly shining cursed bracelet, as its light slowly dimmed. Just what did I see? This music. No matter how I tried to remember the contents of last night's dream, it always seemed to slither away before I could grasp it. Stupid bracelet, what's the point of giving me important dreams if I can't remember them clearly? Sadly, the bracelet did not respond. If not for the fact that I could do this job in my sleep by now, I might have gotten in trouble with how distracted this had me. As it was, I was going about my shift on autopilot when I felt my phone vibrate. I frowned as I looked at my phone display. It wasn't like Emma to call during a shift. I quickly informed someone that I was taking my break and went to the back room. Emma, what's up? Are you still at Joseph's? Yep, I'm on shift. But she should have already known that. Good. She let out a sigh of relief. Someone broke into the house. What? The police are going over it right now. The insurance guys will come later too. Forget that. Are you okay? I'm fine. I was out when it happened. The neighbors called the police. I only got here a few minutes ago. Oh, how bad is it? Well, don't freak out, but most of the electronics are gone. Your room especially was trash. That's why I was worried you might have been there when it happened. Dread settled into my stomach. Was it possible that my research was the cause? My laptop? Sorry, Maya. I clenched my eyes shut. It's fine. It wasn't. It's just a laptop. The insurance should cover it at least. Yeah, what? Could you check my desk? The leftmost drawer has a false bottom. I had some hard drives there. Those hard drives were an offline backup of all the data I'd gotten from the investigation. Sure, give me a moment. I waited, heart in my throat as she checked. I got the bottom open, but there's nothing here. Even the offline backup. I swallowed hard. Look, I need to get back to my shift, but thanks for letting me know. Alright. I hung up the phone and started logging in to my online backups with a sinking feeling. Maybe it was just a random burglary, or they didn't think about the cloud. And yet, that seemed too much to hope for. It had already been indiscriminately emptied out, even the recycling bins erased. After all the lectures I had given my parents on web safety, to be so thoroughly attacked, it felt like it couldn't be real, like I would wake up any moment. I thought I'd been so careful that I would cover my tracks, been smart with my passwords and encryption keys, backed up my data on diverse enough sources that they would be safe, but it was all gone. How? Good question. I took a shaky breath. Stupid. With all the precautions I'd taken, forgot the most important thing. If it's connected to the network, then a good enough hacker could get to it. After all, that's how I got my information in the first place. And what they couldn't, they stole. We were just lucky that no one was home when they acted. Or they could have chosen this time because we weren't home. They might have been watching and planning for a while. Doing this so openly was sending a message. They know where I live and our schedules. That thought sent a shiver up my spine. I'd known intellectually that I was doing was dangerous, but I don't think I realized how much until that moment. This was the sort of thing I always thought happened to other people, more interesting people. People like me, we were cautious and rational. We didn't lead exciting lives. We were side characters in the stories of others. That's what I always thought. Somehow it gave me a sense of security, and yet that wasn't true at all, was it? Reality doesn't follow the rules of fiction. Not everything made sense. Bad things happened to good people. There were no walkthroughs or guaranteed payoffs. Joke's on you, this game does have a walkthrough. In short, reality sucks. I knew I had to go back out there and continue my shift. Life goes on and all that, but all I wanted was to just curl up and shut down until my world made sense again. Espionage, burglaries, curse bracelets, those weren't my life. My biggest worry should have been where I'd work once I graduated. How had everything gotten so messed up? Maya, good you're here. We need to go. I was startled by Siri barging into the break room. Siri, what? We can talk later. You'll be late for your flight home. My flight? That's only tomorrow. I'm in the middle of a shift. It's been rescheduled. Come on. Baron's waiting for us in the car. We should go through to the back. She pushed me in the direction of the door and started walking, still completely confused by what was going on. Why did it feel like Siri was kidnapping me? Is this you making up for yesterday? It's something to do with that. Just trust me, okay? I trust you, but maybe we should do this another time. I just got some bad news. My place was robbed. I know. You do. Yes, Whatever she was going to say was cut short by the back door being kicked open by a gun-wielding masked man just before we could reach it. Maya, I regret to inform you, but I think you're on an action flick now. What the... Don't even think about getting away. What's going on? This is a hostage situation. Now, if you just listen to what we're saying without trying to escape, you might just get out of this alive. What? No, we're all gonna join the others at the front. No funny business. The gun he trained on me had me automatically following his words, even as my brain kept asking what was going on repeat. Great time to shut down on me, brain. I glanced over at Siri, who was walking beside me, to see if she had any better luck, but she looked so disappointed and kept shooting worried glances at the gun that was now digging into my bag. Suddenly, her earlier actions made sense. She was trying to get me out of here without me knowing about the hostage situation. And she knew about the burglary too, when I was only just notified, at least related. These gunmen are after me? Siri must have seen my mounting panic because she reached out to take my hand and give it a reassuring squeeze. It helped, but only a little. We were still in a very dangerous situation after all. Still, freaking out wasn't going to help. I needed to keep a calm head. My heart dropped as we walked back into the front of the restaurant, and I saw the other staff and patrons cowering on the ground, in the process of being tied up by some masked man while others kept their guns ready for any attempts at heroism. If this really was because of my investigation, then all these people were in danger because of me. Because I wouldn't stop investigating. The man that had brought us here called to the other man. Found two trying to get away. Wait, is that Sterling's daughter? Looks like we're going to make more money than we thought. Siri just glared at him defiantly in response. It didn't take long before we were tied up with the rest of the hostages. One of the men, the leader, was on a call negotiating the release conditions with the police squad that we could see parked outside through the windows. The situation wasn't any better than it had been a while ago, but somehow the lack of any action calmed me. It's fine. They get what they want, and we'll all be released. This is all just a scare tactic. The leader hung up on the call and turned to us with fake cheer. It's your lucky day. The cops want us to release some of you as a show of sincerity when we received the first of our demands. My heart rose a little at that. See, things are going well. Maybe we'll be part of the ones released. Even as I thought that, I knew Siri's status meant that she was too valuable a bargaining chip to hand over. Lost away, there would always be a gun trained on me since the start, despite me clearly not being a threat. I was fooling myself into thinking it would be that easy. No, the hostages were released, were not us. In fact, the only ones left behind were me, Siri, and the manager. Manager. If I had still had any doubts about me being the target, they were gone now. The only thing I couldn't figure out was why they kept the manager. He wasn't even useful in normal situations. Still, I couldn't waste too much time thinking about him. Not when we were in such a dire situation. If there was a chance we would die here then. I turned my head towards Siri and spoke in a low voice. I'm sorry, this is all my fault. She rolled her eyes at me. It's not your fault. If anything, it's mine. I'm the reason you were involved in all of this. No, you told me it was dangerous and I should stop, but I didn't listen. I was stubborn. You wanted to help me. No, that wasn't the only reason. I'm not friendly like Emma, or confident like Mira, or driven like you. All I have is my mind, and I wanted to solve the puzzle. I needed to prove that I was more than just a side character in someone else's story. Maya, you're not a side... That's it. I like being a side character. I like being able to fade into the background. Being the hero or having some epic love story or weirdly high-risk quests. I don't want that, not in real life. What I really want is a simple life, doing what I like, and surrounded by the people I love. I'm just sad that it took this for me to accept it. I swallowed a lump in my throat, and I'm glad that all of the stories in the world I was part of yours. You're my best friend. Siri looked visibly uncomfortable at my heartfelt words. Don't speak like that. We're going to make it out of this. Trust me. I do trust you, but I also needed to hear that. I also needed you to hear that in case. I shrugged. Just in case. I wished I had more time with Garret too, that I've been able to convince him that we could work together. I'm kind of worried that they're gonna make him, I don't know, do something we all might regret. That we weren't too different. The thought of that never even got the chance to try to make... The thought that I'd never even get the chance to try it made me unbearably sad. Also, could you make sure that the plush of keeping dressed as a waiter on my bed is sent back to Garret? I wouldn't want it to be thrown on after. Okay, no, neither of us is dying. There's no need for any of this. I leveled Siri with a serious look. You're right, but just in case, this is my will, okay? I'm trusting you with this. Maya! If I do get killed, you can use my body to block any battles, okay? Okay, now we're really getting a bit too into the action flick. Why are you becoming more morbid by the second? Stress does that to me. Plus, since Varen isn't here to lay his life on the line for you, as your best friend, I shall. Varen is here. I cut my words off at the sight of a bruised and tired of Baron being thrown onto the ground in front of us. I found this guy sneaking around the back. We incredulously watched as Varen rightened himself into a sitting position. Why are you inside? It's my duty to be by your side. Okay, but did you have to get yourself captured? This doesn't really help the situation. He shrugged the movement hampered by the ropes. There were very few scenarios that didn't end with them opening fire. At least this way I can be a human shield. You know what? I'm done with you two. I swear. If one more person volunteers to be a human shield... Don't worry, I won't. No one expected to anyway. We all turned to the manager with disbelieving looks. I'd forgotten he was even there. Right, well, thank you for that. She shrugged it off and leaned closer to Varen. I followed suit so that I could hear the conversation. So, what's happening outside? Master Sterling is taking care of it, and told me to ensure nothing happens to you before he can fix this. Unfortunately, this has made the news, and there's a crowd gathering outside, which makes direct intervention hard, because of the risk of collateral damage. What do you mean, Mr. Sterling is taking care of it? How is he fixing it? Baron glanced at Osteria for a nod before continuing. He's negotiating with the real mastermind to let you go. The real? You mean he knows who's behind this? Not just this. He's known who was responsible for Kiru and Science kidnapping attempts all along. He found out about the plan against you by keeping an eye on my father's intel. Then why is that person still at large? What was the point of me even investigating it if he knows? I can just have them thrown in jail. Just trust me when I say it's someone even we can touch, and the less you know about it, the better. Someone even the Sterlings can touch. The thought sent a shiver down my spine. There were very few people with more power and influence than Ciri's father, so to have unintentionally put myself in the crosshairs of one. Yes, for now. Let's sit tight and wait for my father, okay? We'll fix everything. No throwing your bodies in harm's way and no heroic stunts, got it? She fixed both of us with a gaze as she said it. Got it. Who was talking to you? Well, at least one person listens to me. The leader got a call not too long after that and told the others to not get any itchy trigger fingers. The big boss says he'll call back with new orders soon, and if anyone acts out in line in the meantime. He lets the threat hang in the air, but the 3-4 of us breathed sighs of relief. At least for now anyway, we were safe. Well, as safe as you could be when surrounded by masked men wielding guns. And I think since the scene changed, I will end the episode here. So yeah. Then I guess we'll see how this situation is being solved. So yeah, until then, bye!